doing great, guys. It is
What's
great
going on,
to
Rob?
see you here.
Likewise.
And so I told you this is what I was very excited about today. We started off with my presentation and went in with David and JoJo, and now we're going to go and culminate here with Ash and Joe. This is going to be a great, segment here to the prop space. I'll be coming back later this afternoon. My friend Hubert will be presenting, and then I'll be presenting. He's going to be teaching Dave top trading strategies later this afternoon, and I'll come in after him. So we've got some great training and sessions for you later today too. Well, you know what, guys? We ran a little behind. There was a crash for one of our last speakers. And so bear with me. I do got to give away those prizes from the last round. We're going to be giving away 50 Redline accounts, I believe it is, coming up here momentarily. So the prize is for, because we don't want to be liars, and so we're going to give away 50 each hour. So let's go ahead and pull up those first.
Rob, you have the list, right?
What's that?
You have the list?
I do.
Okay.
So they're just the handoff with JoJo and let's do it in a second here. So we're just going to take care of that and we're going to get right into Redline. So here you go. Congratulations. Here are the 50 lucky winners, and you guys should have received an email, right? So they already sent out the email for this group here.
Yes, I believe that is the case. They should have already gotten it there.
By the way, Andrea's Piccolo's not showing on here twice, so we may be giving away somebody else there. Ironically, Tamara is the one who's first place in the entire trading competition. Check this out, Jake. Tamara just crushing it. $74,890. And congratulations, staying up there on top and close to top. It's been a fight between David and Tamara, and then there's been other people that are red contenders right back up there at number 4. So, watching these guys, looking at their trades, and then like I said, there's a lot of people that are doing very well as well, just on their consistency and that. So we'll be giving a lot of awards again away for that today, but I don't want to take any more time away from this capstone group here, because I've been looking forward to Ash and Joe being on here with me. I think I told you guys my expectation. So right now, Redline's pretty new to it, but already with their growth in that, I see them. I was talking to Sean, and Sean Ian thinks that within the next week or so, they're probably going to be on the trending, because these accounts here, Midgard, Halcyon, Redline, I expect are all of these two are trending now. Redline just because of the growth, and people are very happy with what they're seeing there. So got a great lineup right now. Now you're going to get to actually talk with Ash and Joe here momentarily. So guys, without further ado, as the owners of Redline Futures Funding here, what would you like to talk about today? What would you like to share with the audience? And I know, Ash, you told me you're going to come up with something special as an offer. And that offer, whatever they come up with, will get you access to wealth charts there as well. So
100%.
Pretty exciting. So
just tell them off the rip the deal.
Wealthcharts.com/prop, so that you guys can get in there and get your Redline accounts while you're talking with the guys here. So let me just stop my share. If you would like Ash and guys, if you guys want to take over, you guys got some
Let's do it.
cool looking cars in the backdrop.
Thank you very much.
If you're going to be sharing a screen chart, or
yes,
do more of a presentation or kind of interview style there when you talk.
Both of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of hybrid of both. So my media team will get everything set up right now. You want to announce the offer for him?
Yeah, so we've come out, we've seen a lot of other props drop big offers during this summit. So we wanted to offer you guys basically buy 2, get 1 free, and 50% off from everything on the site, including that. So we're going to have that until Sunday.
It's going to be a fantastic offer.
Yeah.
Well, guys.
Okay, buy 2, get, so sorry guys,
No, you're good, Rob.
I know about this before now. I know Ash said we're going to come and break a raid.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and let me write this down here. Buy 2,
get 1 free.
Get 1 free.
Everything is 50% off.
Code Redline.
50% off. And what code there?
Code Redline. Very simple. Name of the firm. Redline. Yes, sir.
Okay. So don't use wealth charts for this one, gang. Use code Redline.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, yes.
Get one free, 50% off, and let's see, it's going to be code Redline. All right.
Yes, sir.
Now, guys, what does that mean in actual dollars? Then with 50% off, like, can you give me like what you say, a 25K plan as an example?
I believe the 25Ks are going for around 40 right now
Yeah.
with that 50% off.
Yep,
So
just about
overall,
40.
you'd save like $100, $120 if you
overall.
get a pack of 3, 150 on some accounts, even up to 220 on different sizes.
You're basically be able to buy 3 25K evals for just about above $80, and you're getting 3 of them. So it's a tremendous ROI return. Buy 2, get 1 free, 50% off.
Okay, very good. So let's go ahead, and this is Redline.
Let's do it.
So right here, I'll go ahead and let me put it right up here. So Redline Futures Funding.
Yes, sir.
So they recently came on, and I told you, I've talked to you guys about Redline all week. I've told you, Ash, I was really impressed with him and the team. I told you, really smart guys. You guys may want to address your technical background and that. But very easy to work with, very enjoyable, fast and fun to work with, decent guys, just good people. I've told you some of my experiences with some prop firms and the kind of shady things that they ask us to do and want us to do that not in your favor. These guys, kind of like FFF before, these guys also went in, never asked us, hey Ron, can you delay the feed half a second or a second? They never went in and asked us anything, we had a firm ask us that.
That's
Incredible.
crazy.
Incredible.
That's crazy.
Trust me, I've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, look what's going on with the whole,
Yeah.
I guess I want to bring up the other dude, this
Yep.
big industry.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
You know, you know.
You know, you know.
So, yeah, you're exactly. If you know, you know. And so the reality is, it's great to have some firms here that are like, you know what, while some of these firms are making bad decisions and mistakes, that there's the up and comers that say, you know what, pick me, I'll give great specials, I'll give great offers, I'll take care of them, and be the future generation of prop firms that people look to. So that's an exciting time, in this case. But I'm not showing my screen now. We're looking at you guys, the wonderful
Perfect.
cars in the backdrop.
Perfect.
So it's all you to share what you'd like to share.
Perfect.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob, very much. Let's get into it. Welcome, everybody. Before we get too deep in anything, I want to say a special thank you to Rob and the entire Wealth Charts team for having Ash and I here today. We have a fantastic presentation for you guys. Operation Redline. Again, Redline, very used to the cars you see in the background here. Our entire mission is to build profitable traders, and I'm going to get into detail with that very shortly, but Operation Redline is very simple, the fastest growing prop firm in the space right now, and we are trying to really turn over profitable traders. Next slide for me. Perfect.
So let's go ahead and go into a little of who I am and how me and Joe linked up here. So over the past 3 years, I've been live trading on YouTube and Discord. I've had about 500 people a stream and close to 1 million in student payouts under me. About 10,000 people have went through my stuff, and I've seen a gap in the market with all these prop firms. Now, I have a computer science degree and 3 other degrees. I knew if I had a partner that could help me and somebody who knew about finance that I could trust, we could come in and we could do something that's good for people. Because one thing that we're going to talk about later is there's so much brainwash of prop firm state simulation,
100%.
and it doesn't really get you to want to go live. That's the whole thing of a prop firm, is to get you actual money into your pocket, push you to a live account,
100%.
and have that freedom without all the rules, right?
Correct.
So I spent hours and nights developing this with our CTO. Thankfully, we have a great CTO with us. And let's get into a little bit about Joe, because
Let's do it. So my name is Joseph Murphy. I'm 28 years old. I actually got my MBA in finance from a small Christian university named Azusa Pacific University. That is where this entire trading journey started, but I actually come from a little bit of a different background. I have been an options and a futures trader for 10 years now. I actually kind of forgave the prop firm space as a trial, because in the options world, starting out, you're talking about 10 years ago, and kind of aging myself in that sense, there wasn't really prop firms, not only in the future side, it was not even in the option side yet. So I went straight to live account, which for those of you guys, again, who have been in the live space, even prop firm space, it requires a ton of trial and error. So where I was able to get my master's in finance is where this entire journey started, with a base is crazy trial and error process. So I always ask people's always sitting there going, show me the true testament that you've been through the entire journey of blown accounts, all kinds of problems. And I sit there and I go, if you really look at me and you see that I've given everything to this game, that is as simple as I can make it. I've been through every single trial and testament to get to the side of profitability, but I hang it on the testament to my finance background and then really just trial and error. I have a mentorship program where I teach 7 days a week live for an hour and a half every single day of the week. It encompasses both economics and price action in itself. Next slide for me, Destin. Thank you. Alrighty guys, so over the next hour, we're gonna talk a little bit about Redline in itself. We're gonna keep that very brief. We have a fantastic dual lesson for you guys. Ash is gonna talk a little bit about what he wants to talk about. I'm gonna talk about some stuff specific to me, but right now I wanna get into, explain more of the mission here with Redline. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so getting into the details of why we built Redline. So kind of to expand on my man Ash's here point, we noticed a tremendous gap in the market. So because of the fact that Ash comes from the prop firm trading space and I come from the live trading space, there's a little bit of seeing both sides here. So I was always talking to Ash, sitting there, I go, I thought, from my understanding, that the entire point of the prop firm space was to be able to provide capital to traders that might not be able to access that same capital. And once they're able to prove themselves, hey, I've developed the habits of a profitable trader. I've conquered the emotional control. I have the discipline. I've taken payouts. I've invested those payouts into a live account. Now I'm ready to either get pushed live with the firm or go live myself. So when he sits here and telling me that most of the industry, most of these guys don't want to go live, and sure, I understand some of the dynamic why they might want not to, I'm looking at the entire industry sitting here going, I feel like everybody almost makes it and has been able to successfully convince everybody that the goal is to stay in the prop firm space. From my understanding, that's never was the goal. And Redline is here to make that push back to the original goal that started the entire prop firm space over 15 years ago. Take traders that are capital limited, give them that capital and show them how to be a profitable trader and watch them graduate to live accounts and live traders to be able to go on and have fantastic retail careers for the rest of their trading career. That is the true basis. The mission statement I like to say is we're the only prop firm truly dedicated to churning profitable traders. And the reason I say the word profitable, because every single one of you guys here, whether you're a complete beginner, intermediate, advanced, watching this presentation, you guys do know to be able to be profitable, there's a really certain set of consistent mode of operation that you have to be able to achieve that profitability. So that is the entire basis of the mission statement here from Redline Futures Funding. We are not here to try to keep you brainwashed to be able to continue to use our platform. We want to utilize the platform, learn, educate yourself, follow the rule system. Our rules are specifically designed to boost profitable traders. If you are not in the profitability habits, it is not for you in that sense. And again, if you are somebody that's a complete beginner sitting here going, I want to be a profitable trader, I want that next edge, then we are the firm for you, simply put. Next slide.
And to even elaborate a little bit more on that, we went through the rules of different prop firms and competitors that were on the space, and we took out basically what we thought was some of the stuff that limited them. Correct. Now, in our eyes, there's different qualities of setups. So if you're on a live account, you can leverage a lot more on a setup. Maybe you're not able to do that due to a consistency rule or something along those lines in a prop firm account. So we said no consistency rule on the eval and on one of our styles of accounts. And we said no minimum days to pass. So you don't have to spread your trading days across. You can take a high quality setup and pass the account in one trade. Now we see some firms going and clawing back on payouts and stuff. That's not something we want to do. We don't change our rules. We don't have high prices. We know some firms charge like $1,000. I believe our base price, no discount, is one of the best, if not the best prices in the industry. We don't like to run those big flash sales. We like to keep it legit.
We don't like those e-com style.
We don't like
sales.
e-com style.
Base pricing is great. Discounted pricing is great. The goal is ROI. That is the goal. As a trader, because again, finance background for both of us, when we look at something, you look at it from where is my dollars going? If I'm putting in these dollars, what am I getting back? Obviously, again, in the prop firm space, you have to pass a level of challenges to be able to provide that value for yourself in ROI. But we are setting the bar by at least giving you the entry of a fair ROI where you can buy an account for as little as $40 to be able to achieve $1,000 in payouts. The ROI is our goal. We have some of the highest ROIs. If I'm not mistaken, our 25K is like a 26K, 26X,
Yeah, 26X.
26X ROI. There's nowhere else that competes with that. But that's just some of the basis of why we changed some of our rules to be a little bit different than the industry, to be able to be a very specific way. But I think we're going to get into the teaching now, which is the good part. Next slide, Dustin.
So
Perfect.
I'm going to go a little bit over some of my price action strategy. I'm going to run you guys through a high level overview, something very simple. And then again, without price action, or without economics added into price action, it's pretty much gambling. I do believe that price action dictates everything. It's number one. I don't like to use indicators, but you have to understand the economics behind price action for it to actually work. So I do myself trade multiple sessions, and in my eyes there's a correlation between tickers, session, and different things, so we'll go over that today. I like trading the New York session and Asia session primarily. I used to trade London. Now the tickers, NQYM to New York, right? Those are US based, so they're obviously going to have the most volume in the morning. My eyes, everybody's getting those orders late at night where they're not in, and then when they clock in, all that volume comes in at the first hour, like 6:30 a.m. Pacific to about 7:30 a.m. Pacific. Yes, you can catch moves after that, but I mostly trade breakouts and reversals. So that is how I do that. Asia, I like to look at gold, Japan 225. You could catch some big moves, just like NASDAQ's correlated the US dollar YM is. Japan 225 is basically that for Asia session. Now, when you go to London, you have DAX and FTSE. What is DAX? That's basically top 30 German, top 40 German stocks. FTSE UK 100, basically the UK NASDAQ. So all those are going to move at 11 p.m. and 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time through that influx of volume. So what do I like to trade mostly? I love the breakout at the 6:30 a.m. session. It has to be one of my favorite setups, really. I like to see an area where price is commonly rejected, right? A level, that level doesn't have to be an exact point, right? It can be a range. But as price approaches this level, the way the 5-minute candle behaves determines if I take it or not. Sometimes I wait for closures, sometimes I take it on an abrupt break of structure. Now, as for dojis and reversals, I wait for price to come up and consolidate and create what I like to call an indecision candle where buyers and sellers can't decide, so there's not much room on the open and close of the candle. Now, that candle may travel a lot. I like to take the reversals on that between 6:30 and 7 a.m. I don't trade past or before those sessions because I feel like statistical likelihood of volume coming in is extremely low after those times, in my experience. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I just do good in the markets sometimes. So we have oversold and overbought things. Now, oversold and overbought gaps in the market can be caused by news or just a straight trend. And that really determines if I'm targeting to fill the gap or I'm targeting to continue the trend. What I'll do is if there is an abrupt news, I will expect price to recover that if there's a large gap in the market. Now, if it's just a solid sell-off trend, I'm going to follow the trend. I look for 2 to 3 confirmations each trade. So as price approaches a level, let's talk a little bit how I talk about candle behavior. If it approaches a level and price is, I'd say this, what I see on the opening 6:30 to 7:30 is the candle size on average is anywhere from like 40 to 160 points on NASDAQ. So if price is between that, like less than half of that as it breaks structure, I feel like the candle still has some life to it to push and I'm not going to get pulled back on. So I definitely take that in and measure pre-session candles when it comes to determine how far my break of structure is. You see a lot of guys on here talk about orb, opening range breakout. So they'll take the first 15 high and the 15 low. This is great. It's a good basic strategy that you can teach everybody, but it's not accurate all the time. You have to look at previous price structure, really. I like to think of clean price structure as staircases almost, where price is retesting levels each time it moves. That's very clean in my opinion. Now, we have our risk management when it comes to these things, right? A lot of people don't know how to risk manage their prop firm accounts, and that leads to a lot of blowing these accounts. So I like one-day passing. That's why we put it into Redline. I like being able to leverage on high positions. So risk management on these, I don't risk more than 1,000 on my 50Ks, and genuinely I risk a lot lower. As for targets, I do believe risk to reward is where your profit lives, right? So I like to say 1 to 2 to a 1 to 5. I know some firms used to have a 1 to 5 denial. We don't have anything like that. We don't care how big you make. as long as you're following the rules and you're not gambling and you're a good trader. So with that being said, the key levels that I look for happen to be, some people will teach you like, hey, price comes up and then it comes down, like some of a double top, right? They call it a resistance. I just think of it as a key level. We look for these anywhere between 2 to 4 stop losses away from where price is going to open at. If price does not close above those levels or break strong, I don't take it. So with that being said, that is a high-level overview of this breakdown. The only other things I can say is my average stop loss is anywhere between 10 and 30 points for NASDAQ. It's going to be between 35 and 55 on US 30. And on DAX, 10 to 20. On FTSE, it's going to be about 35 to 55 as well. So with those, that's the high-level overview of the strategy. I guess we could take questions now or at the end. What would you guys like? What do you guys have about this so far?
We do it at the end.
We could do it at the end?
I'll do my portion.
Yeah, just one question. One question I'd ask right now is for clarification on the time frames, the time zones each day. Are we talking? What are we
Pacific.
talking Eastern time. Okay, so
+3 for EST.
So again, the 6:30.
6:30 would be 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go, Jay. Okay, back to you.
Okay, so with that being said, this is just basic price action, right? You can learn this for free anywhere on YouTube. But what really comes down to it is understanding the economics behind it. And that's where I'm going to bring in somebody who might be a little bit better at talking because they got a finance degree, and I don't want to mess up any definitions here. So with that being said, my partner, Joe Murphy.
Let's do this. You want to grab your stuff real quick? Thanks.
I got you.
Perfect. What's going on, everybody? Let me just get myself set up really quick here. Alrighty, so thank you, Ash. Ash has a tremendous basis on price action specifically. I'm going to dive into some of my core concepts. So the number one thing, Ash focuses on price action. I'm also tremendously a price action trader specifically, but I believe in this concept of being a complete trader. Now, the first part of being a complete trader, before we even talk anything about price action, anything about any strategy, it starts here. Emotional control over strategy. What do I mean by that? Whether you're watching this as a beginner, you're watching this as an intermediate trader, you're watching this as an advanced trader, regardless of what it is. This concept of emotional control over strategy means, if you can see from the presentations this week at this wealth conference, I'm sure that every single person that's had the opportunity to present their strategy has probably had various strategies. You might have seen some order flow, you might have seen some breakouts, you might have seen some reversals, whatever it is, there's an obvious assumption that these strategies at least have somewhere between 60%, 70% win rate, and really most strategies in the market do actually have success, but that is not the key aspect that makes them work. The trader itself is the one that makes the strategy profitable, meaning it lies here in emotional control. Every single decision you make in the market comes down to emotional control. One of the things I like to do specifically is, Ash was referencing 6:30 a.m. New York Open. We are in PST, so that's how we operate here. I am live at 6 a.m. every single morning, 30 minutes before the market opens. Why? The same way that we spend time preparing this presentation for you guys, I spend adequate time preparing for New York Open. Why? I make sure I'm checking every single level. I'm looking at Asia session, I'm looking at London session, I'm looking at the order flow from the previous day, I'm looking at the news, I'm looking at X, I'm checking every single financial website to see, is there anything sitting here that I'm not aware of? Is there any news that's dropping that I'm not aware of? Why? Because I am preparing myself for that New York Open. For those of you guys that trade New York, you know, once that volume kicks in and price starts going, things happen quickly. So most traders, the first part they go wrong is they start to enter into an emotional state. They're reactive. They're not prepared. They're seeing price flying and now they're trying to make quick decisions while a lot of data is being processed in their head. That is not the mode of operation from a truly profitable trader. That trader sets himself up so no matter where price goes, remember, a lot of people love to have bias in the market, which I think is one of the best things to have from an overall directional perspective, but not from a day-to-day perspective, because I know, as much as it might seem that sometimes you could see bias in the market, hey, this is going downside, this is going downside. But when you have that bias, you're oftentimes looking through a smaller window and you're not looking at everything. Every morning I chart out all my levels and I'm sitting here going, okay, if we push to the upside, I have 2 plays at this point. I can break out, retest, enter there, back to the upside, or if we get rejected at pre-market high, for example, for my options trader, pre-market, that's a options terminology. For example, if we break London session high, I'm taking the break and retest. I have multiple pathways to the upside. The same way I prepare for the downside. That way, when the levels start to hit, when price starts to move, there is no reaction. I already know exactly what I want to do before anything happens. There is no emotional decision. Oftentimes, emotional decisions come from not being able to control price action and your position size. You got to remember, every single one of us, as smart as we are, as savvy, adequate traders we are, we like to think that anybody can predict price action. Those of you guys seen the Wolf of Wall Street movie, Matthew McConaughey says it best. I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or who you are, nobody knows if the stock market's going to go up, down, or in circles. So that being said, I think that's very true. Now, sure, there's a lot of ways to mitigate and understand how price moves, but the only thing that you have control of is yourself, your decisions, and your position size. Most of the time, traders like to over leverage, which is obviously why part of prop firms have those contract rules, consistency rules, because they're trying to avoid over leveraging. The basis of a profitable trader is controlling your size. I know a lot of you guys have taken a trade with way too much position that you thought you had conviction in, and then all of a second you have no conviction, and then boom, position size causes you to make an emotional decision. If you cannot afford a loss, like Ash said, your risk management is not in place, you will self-destruct. So the basis of this first portion here is to understand emotional control is where all traders should be emphasized, either at the beginning of their journey or if they're struggling to profitability. Ask yourself these questions. Am I in control of my emotions? Do I think things through before I take positions? Do I know the average position size that I'm comfortable with losing? On top of all of that, am I disciplined enough to know my entry criteria and follow it every single day? And sure, all of us go within our rules, we exit our rules, we do stupid stuff, it happens, I do it from time to time as well, but I know the second that I step outside my box, immediately I need to shut it off, take the loss, if it is there, if I do get lucky and I do hit a trade when it's out of my parameters, I reset myself, go back to my baseline of rules, and reset. That is what I mean with emotional control over strategy. If you are sitting here going, I'm struggling to get payouts, I'm struggling to be a profitable trader, it is oftentimes has nothing to do with this. I hate to tell you guys this, and if this is in contrast to what anybody else has presented, forgive me, no indicator is going to be your saving grace. This is going to be your saving grace. And indicators and strategy are fantastic tools, and you need that. But without this, we never even get here. Next slide, Dustin. Or if we can go to the 5-minute candle slides, perfect. Alrighty, so Ash talked about a little bit 5-minute candles. Him and I have a shared belief in this. 5-minute candles are some of the most confirming candles in the entire direction of the market, specifically at New York Open, and within usually the first hour, hour and a half. Now don't get me wrong, I love my 1 hour, I love my 4 hour, I love my day, my weekly, my 15-minute time frames, but the 5-minute and the 1 minute, believe it or not, yes, the 1 minute, I know it can get crazy sometimes when you live and die there. We don't live and die there. We use the 5-minute to confirm the 1 minute. And what I mean by that is these 5-minute candles, if you watch, they have some of the craziest personalities on the planet. What do I mean by that? How many times have you guys had for example, a support and resistance level charted out? Let's say, for example, like if anyone was trading today, 30,000 on NQ, that oftentimes acts as a tremendous resistance / support level. If we flip above it, it acts as support. What was once a resistance level acts as support. What was once a support level acts as resistance. So let's just use 30,000 for an example, right? How many times have you guys had a level charted out? You see a 5-minute candle, within the first minute or two of that 5-minute candle, push past the level. So then you're sitting there going, oh, we're breaking out here. Perfect, let's go. And then all of a sudden you notice towards the back end of that 5-minute candle, let's say with 2 minutes to expire, a minute to expire, all of a sudden the candle's personality changes. It's like a crazy ex-girlfriend out of nowhere. And I'm like, whoa, 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 we were fine. How are you cold and how are you bothering me right now? All of a sudden that candle starts to completely flip. Now we're seeing a giant wick form and we are reversing in real time. 5 minutes candles show themselves towards the last portion of their expiration. The last minute and a half, the last minute, that is the basis of my strategy. So remember, Indicators are fantastic, but price action is the true testament to the market. And price can sometimes be a lagging indicator. If you guys have ever heard that phase, I'm not going to go through it right now. Price can be a lagging indicator, but the market is simply made up of volume, candles, and key levels. That is the simple base of the market. You can make it as complex as you want. I like to keep things simple. I grew up in the basis of keep it simple, stupid. Do not overcomplicate it. Anybody can learn price action, but my true belief is 5-minute candles are the most confirming signals in the market. On top of that, what really solidifies it, I can't see the chat if anybody's asking, how do we know the 5-minute candle confirms? What are we looking for? I call it the candle close. The strength in a candle, specifically the 5-minute, lies in the close. I'm going to say it again, put it in your guys' brain. The strength of a candle lies in the close, specifically the 5-minute. Why? Exactly what I said in the beginning. First minute, minute and a half, it shows itself one way, and you're sitting here going, this is my move. Fantastic. Let's go. But how many times have you been swept? How many times have you sat there and watched your stop loss get absolutely eaten alive and price has flown back the other way? That is the candle closure concept. Candles are quite literally telling you, whether you're looking at the order book or the candles themselves, they are telling you exactly what is happening in price and exactly where the market wants to go. Obviously, you're looking at the order book, you can see a little bit more in detail, but the candles are telling you the same thing. You just have to learn how to read it. And 5-minute candles are exactly how you do that. That is the basis of 5-minute candles confirming the 1-minute madness. I like to live in down the 5-minute. I will go into the 1-minute for confirmation to a certain degree. Once I get my 5-minute confirmation, I'm in the 1-minute looking for an example. If it is what AJ is saying here, we're breaking out above a key level. Once I get that 5-minute candle close, I'm right into the 1-minute looking for my retest. If I see volume come in right at that retest level, I know we are green light gone. I'm entering, putting my stop, depending on what I'm risking, 15 points, 25 points, 50 points, depending on what count size you have, and we are running. 1 to 1.5, 2 to 1, whatever it is. But that is the basis of 5-minute candles confirming the 1-minute. But remember, candle closure is where the strength lies. And candles show themselves their true form the closer to expiration. Thank you, Destin. If we can move on to the complete trader dynamic. Thank you very much. So, you guys have heard me talk about this terminology, the complete trader. What does that mean? What is this bald guy with really bright teeth talking about exactly? The thing about it is this. The complete trader is pretty much made up of someone who knows price action, someone who has their emotional control dialed, and the last part is understand the way that the economics and the data flow into the market. One thing I noticed tremendously from coming between options and futures is usually, don't yell at me here if this is not you, futures traders oftentimes remove the economic side of things because there's not as much financial Greeks and deltas and all that stuff like that, so there's more flow within the stock market specifically. I need to know exactly what's happening with NVIDIA so I can understand how NASDAQ's moving. Remember, NASDAQ, QQQ, if you're an options trader, they're the same. Not exactly the same, but they're 99% the same in terms of the US blend, the 100, whatever exactly it is. They're very, very similar. So you have to have that back-end understanding of economics because it confirms what you're seeing in price movement. So what I want to do now is I'm sure a lot of people have taught some fantastic stuff, but this is current news and current events for everybody to understand. Those of you guys that are trading NASDAQ, I'm a NASDAQ trader, so this is very relevant for you guys. You guys know that the NASDAQ has been on an absolute tear since April 1st. Why? We got a massive short squeeze when the market started to pop to the downside, and we had a ceasefire agreement with the Middle East at the time, which flipped into a gamma squeeze with the semiconductor space specifically. So those of you guys that are aware of how much movement we've had in the last month and a half, 2 months, it is because the semiconductor space is on an absolute tear. Micron and companies like that are reporting earnings that are crushing metrics and forward guidance, which is absolutely incredible. But to understand exactly what's happening, you have to dive deeper. So the number one thing, and this is my information and advice for everybody who's going forward that's trading for the next couple weeks. Right now, the number one thing that is leading the market right now is interest rates. What do I mean by that? On Tuesday morning, we got a CPI print. Came in at 3.5 month over month, which is 0.3 below expectations. What that says instantly, remember, all it is data coming out. That's it. Nobody said anything. Nothing's changed. Something's changed. Nobody said anything. What it is all of a sudden, immediately, the market looks at it as, okay, Kevin Warsh, our new FOMC president, mentioned at his last meeting, his press conference, that right now, all the eyes are on prices and inflation. That CPI report shows the first cooling CPI report month over month, and really since the Iran war started. Right now, with that Tuesday print, which happened yesterday morning, immediately cooling, that shows the future forecast for the end of the year can actually not be hawkish, and we could potentially get a rate cut. Why is that important to know? If you've noticed, NASDAQ has really been ranging over the last couple of weeks and has failed to break all-time highs. Specifically, QQQ has done so. I think NASDAQ has broken it a couple weeks back, but since then we have failed to break out. Why? The market's not going to push to highs if it has no reason to, because right now, the Fed being hawkish, pricing in a rate hike by the end of the year, that immediately affects margin on most of these companies. Remember, for those of you guys that know a little bit about the stock market, the Russell 2000, those 2,000 smaller cap companies that pretty much make up the infrastructure layer of the entire economy, those guys have adjustable interest, meaning those interest rates they are extremely sensitive to. So when the market prices in future rate hike, all those companies start to sell off. Why? Margins compress, really forecasting margins compress instantly. Now, when we get that cooling rate hike from the CPI report, all of a sudden those same companies that got compressed are now catching a bid. And what you are noticing is semiconductors. For those of you guys that traded this morning, NASDAQ dropped a ton. Why? Micron, Nvidia, AMD, Broadcom, Dell, Intel, all of them across the board sold off tremendously. Why? We are seeing a rotation out of semiconductors and inflow into Russell 2000. Why? The Tuesday CPI print, the Wednesday PPI print from this morning are now actually pricing in the potential for future rate interest cuts. So all of those companies are getting a bid. What you are seeing is money flow rotation, profit taking out of semiconductors, rolling into Russell 2000, which means the market breadth, meaning how many stocks in the entire market are actually moving upward. Now the breadth is widening, which actually signals a healthier market. But all of that goes into the concept of the complete trader. Price action, emotional control, and economic flow, okay? Again, guys, towards the end of the presentation, we'll take Q&A. I can't see the chat right now, so if we're getting questions bombarding, we will answer it towards the end of the presentation. Now, I talked a little bit about inflation runs the tape.
So, sorry, Joe, I just want to interrupt one question because there's several people buying and trying to buy, and they were asking about that free account. Do they guys select 3 when they go to buy and then?
No. What will happen is right now, anybody that puts in that code use, what we will do is at the end of this presentation, we will make sure and we will email everybody that 3rd free account.
There you go. Okay.
Perfect. So anybody purchasing 2 accounts, that buy 2, get 1 free, at the end of the presentation, we will make sure that we track everybody that purchased with that discount code specifically, and you will get your account. If you have not received it within 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes after the presentation, please go to redlinefuturesfunding.com. Our email is support@redlinefuturesfunding.com. I will have the media team put that in the chat right now. Support@redlinefuturesfunding.com. Send an email there if you have not received it within an hour after the presentation. So do not worry, guys. Those of you guys that are purchasing accounts right now, you will 1000% get that 3rd account. Good?
You got it. Yes, and yes, you can do omni-trading with Redline accounts. I absolutely wouldn't have it any other way. So you can use the omni technology inside of World Charts World. So we're going to Joe's got great stuff here he's showing you. We're going to keep going with this system if you're trying to buy right now. We want to make sure you got that one piece of information out. Back to you, Joe.
Perfect. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it very much. We talked a little bit about inflation. Really, guys, what I wanted to bring is Ash has a tremendous understanding of price action specifically. I have a great understanding of economics. The complete trader understands both. Right now, I have a little bit to go for inflation runs the tape. I want to make sure I give a lot of time to you guys so we can get through the Q&A portion. I will always want to hear your voices being heard. Really, with this section, to kind of make it very brief here, because we are running out of time a little bit, when I mean inflation runs the tape, right now, guys, inflation is going rampant. Crude oil prices skyrocketed when the Middle East war started. We finally got them cooled back to the low 70s, but as of recent, because the recent escalation of tensions that's going on in the Middle East right now with the Strait of Hormuz, we are now seeing a $10 bump in crude oil. So the entire forecast for the rest, at least for the next 4 to 6 weeks, is inflation. So all of my traders, whether you're futures or options, and you've lived on the charts in price action, I dare you to go out of your comfort zone and begin to research this term right here. If you read the word inflation and you cannot tell me right off the dome what it means and how it works itself into the market, then you have homework to do. This is running the entire market right now, and it will run until we get out of the Middle East tension. Crude oil and gas prices across the country drop. For everybody here in the US, I'm sure depending on where you're at, you've noticed that gas has gotten crazy. Here in Los Angeles, it is crazy. I think I filled up almost $7.50 a gallon in this thing the other day specifically. That is all because of what's happening with economics and inflation. The better you understand how the economic flow runs the tape that goes into the market, the more complete trader you are, the less blindsided you'll be, and the more control of your own directional bias and emotional control, because when the market starts to go, you are now fully equipped to understand why it is moving the way it is. Don't just look at it and go, okay, we're up today. Understand why. Knowledge and information is power. Alrighty guys, I had a little bit to go on reversals. I want to make sure we get the Q&A time, so let's run it up. I have time, we can do it. You sure? Alrighty, perfect. Alrighty guys, so can we go to reversals really quick, Destin? One more? Perfect. Alrighty guys, so reversals. This is the real basis of price action I want to talk about today, because I think this is some of the easiest setups to actually spot. Because remember, this is me speaking to my beginners here more than anything. Intermediate, advanced traders, I know you guys can start to see price action, but when you're a beginner, because I remember this right when I started, when I first looked at a chart, I was sitting there going, what am I looking at right now? What do these candles mean? What do these lines mean? There's so much happening right now. What's happening? Well, anybody can learn price action. And price action, one of the easiest setups to spot is reversals. They go very simple here. And I know, I'm about to explain this simply, and you're gonna go, is it really this simple? Yes, it is really this simple. The first sign of a reversal is usually a large move to the upside or a large move to the downside. The way I classify a large move is if, again, in the future side, I would say anywhere between 50 to 100 points is a larger move, relatively larger move. And then in options, it could be $1.50 to $2 on that specific stock, depending on what you're trading. Obviously, volatility can change the movement depending on your options of the individual ticker symbol, but that is generally a big move to the upside or downside. But what is happening, remember, the details of price action. When we're moving to the upside, we are normally in an uptrend, meaning we're making higher highs, higher lows, and until those predators are broken, we're still in an uptrend, meaning the market is still moving to the upside. Remember, very vertical price action oftentimes get reversed, but very healthy, steady state uptrends will hold as long as we continue to make higher highs and higher lows, and we do not lose that. Same thing with the downside. Lower lows and lower highs hold, but the market is trending down. From that point, you will notice all of a sudden that we're starting to get equal highs. The market is ranging. It is consolidating. For anybody that's heard that term consolidation, it is a fancy word for saying price is going sideways. It is no longer uptrending. It is no longer downtrending. We are actually trading sideways. Then we start to establish a range, as you see on the presentation. We start to establish a range. What that is showing you is, hey, we found our support. We found our resistance. We are no longer making higher highs. We are no longer making higher lows. We are not even, again, pushing in the same direction that we once were. That is your beginning signal. Okay, the market just downtrended, the market just uptrended. Now we are trading sideways. What is coming? Now, this is the key part of reversals. Consolidation starts the potential for reversal, meaning it doesn't always happen. Just because we trade sideways does not mean the market can't catch a bid back to the upside and we continue in the previous trend. What you're looking for, going back to the 5-minute candles and confirmation, is once you see support be established, once you see resistance be established, we want to see the first candle break that high, break that low, and close on the 5-minute. Once I see that candle close, I'm immediately into the 1-minute. I am looking for the retest of that level, whether we broke the high or the low. Once I get that retest, this is the key. I need to see volume come in right at that level. If I see volume come in, I see that candle reject, meaning go to full body, flip, and now we have a high wick. That is every single signal I need. We are fully in that position with high conviction. That is how you trade the proper reversal. And the biggest part about it is consolidation is the potential, meaning it's not guaranteed. Confirmation in the candle close is that signal that gives you that confirmation. That is my basis of reversals. Reversals quite literally paid for the cars that you see here. It is that simple. One setup can create a life that every single one of you We all started this trading journey for something, whether it's to provide a better life for your family, your spouse, your future family. Really, I'll tell you guys, truly honest with me, when I was about 13, 14 years old, all I knew was that I wanted the high life, meaning I wanted nice cars, I wanted a nice apartment, is what I envisioned for myself. So when I started to get into trading, my driving factor was these cars. The reason I say that is I'm Cuban. I was born and raised by Cuban immigrants. They left Cuba from communism, came here with nothing. The only thing my grandfather had was cars. That was the only thing that happened. In communism, in 1950 in Cuba, they stopped importing cars for 10 years. So when he left Cuba, he came to the United States, there was a 10-year gap in cars. So imagine showing up to a foreign country, you step off the plane, and all of a sudden you just see foreign machines. And that love for cars was brought into me, and that driving factor, if it wasn't for these machines that you see here and the theme of our prop firm, I wouldn't be the trader I am today, and the knowledge to be able to pass on to you guys. So guys, that is reversals and economics. Thank you guys for the time. We're gonna bring the chairs back out here. We'll get to the Q&A. Sounds good, Rob? Cool. Yes. 100%. Every single follicle is from a different blown account, bad entry, whatever it is. Yes, they really are. And I got so many that I don't have any hair left to show for it. So it is what it is.
Okay, if you guys are loving it, so did you see what I was saying? I told you all week I was excited to go ahead and have, Ash and Joe here. Do you now see why? Type in lucky number 7. Give them the love, show them love. You see the difference? There's substance there. These guys aren't, I'm just going to be frank. I mean, Ash knows I talk pretty bluntly because that's my credibility.
Yeah, you got it.
They're not just another one of these prop firm, gurus that are, coming in like, oh, I want to get into this prop firm space because I see money there. It's like, no, they use it as real. They're smart guys. And I told you that earlier this week. I love working with their team. Love working. I just can shoot and breathe back and forth with Ash.
Thank you, Rob.
Now you can kind of see what I was talking about. See, I don't know if you guys, I think you're sitting down so you can't see the chat, but we got somebody working on the camera back there and they can see the computer. They can see all the stuff.
2 of them.
Awesome.
I said 2.
We got 2 guys working the cameras back there. We got 2 guys. Yeah. Thank you guys tremendously. Thank you.
We got our CMO and CTO there.
Yeah. Thank you guys. It means a lot to us. Thank you.
The downside is now all the great questions when I just went flying off the screen like minutes ago. So gang, what questions do you have? What I'd like to do is, Ash, I saw some questions there about like consistency rule. You don't have a consistency rule the same way on the gas accounts, right?
Yeah, so basically our electric accounts have a consistency rule in the funded stage, none on the eval. And then our gas accounts, there's no consistency rule on either.
The gas account is the trailing drawdown product, and the electric account is the EOD product.
Yes.
End of day drawdown product.
So you got gas, electric, and diesel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Diesel's
direct
instant.
to funded, yeah.
Yeah.
Direct to funded.
Yeah, okay. And so that's great. So,
Thank you very much.
If you guys want to talk a little bit more about plans, try to introduce them to see what you're seeing. So like, I've got, a lot of people that haven't, they're trying right now to buy them. That's why there was all those questions earlier. Explain to them, like, in general, I know there's those high-level differences. What do you see, though, with all the new people, trending their way into Redline there, what do you see in them? What do you find the path of least resistance to get in, get experience with Redline? Finally, to be honest with you, I know what Redline's about, but, the gang did, so there were some people who said, oh, I see those fancy cars, they thought it was a marketing shtick. They don't understand, you guys live and breathe.
Yeah.
We're hustlers, man.
Hustler lifestyle, baby. Hustler
That's
lifestyle.
what we built this on, was just,
Quite literally.
Yeah,
I
coming
can
from
talk
nothing.
more on some of the products, Rob. You want me to real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Jim asked how to get the account. I'm going to put the link in there again for you. So what you do, gang, is let me just go and do a couple things here. While they put that up on top, I'm going to actually get right down to the link where you can go in wealth charts on the wealth charts prop page. So I'll put that in for the guys, and then I'm gonna go ahead from there and put in like how to do the, the steps to do it. Basically, we're giving a really great, opportunity and offer there. So you want to take advantage. So buy two, get one free. So, and so there, I put the link to go to. You go to Redline there, you're, then get your account. Otherwise, if they want, another direct way, just, do you want to direct them to a place on the website?
Yeah, if you guys look at the presentation right now, I'm pretty sure our screen share is on. There's a QR code that should link you right directly to there. So if you guys are looking at the PowerPoint presentation, code is right there, code Redline, and there's a QR code directly on the presentation. Scan that on the phone if you're on your laptop. If you are on your phone, if you want to take a screenshot, go back to it and use another phone, however you guys want to do it. I'll have the media team put our website in there right now in the chat. Every minute or so, I'll have them spam the website in the chat. So that way there's no opportunity. Everybody will get their accounts and they'll be taken care of.
And I'm doing a little spamming for you there as well.
Perfect, thank you, Rob.
So, just make sure that they select everyone instead of just hosts and panelists.
Yes.
So that everybody else can see it.
Perfect. So to answer your question, Rob, I think you asked me, what is the path of least resistance? What are we seeing really at the firm with the influx of traders? The first part, the least resistance part, I think the biggest thing for us, as I kind of stated in the beginning of the presentation, is building profitable habits, right? So both products offer a little bit of an advantageous style depending on the way that you trade. The least resistance path that I've seen is the electric side of things. The reason for it is consistency rule is kind of one of those things that some prop firms try to use in like a back end sense. They put a consistency rule so they can say that, hey, that we're trying to minimize exactly how much you're making per trade, correlation to your profits, because we want to keep you consistent, right? 100%. The reason why we offer it on one and not the other is because in some cases that is correct. Most of these prop firms utilize it so they can minimize how much profit you make without offering the opposite, right? So all 1 day passes on every single eval, but the reason we have two separate products and are distinct between consistency rule and no consistency rule is because if you are a trader that loves to be consistent and you're able to, again, have your trades, whether you're living on MNQ, you're living on the micro side of things, from there, that product benefits you. If you're someone that likes to take a little bit more riskier trades in the sense of, hey, I know my setups, I know my size, I know my leverage, but I want to make sure that when I do hit the trade that I know, because this is the biggest thing from a live trader perspective, and Ash has shared the same exact thing from a prop trader perspective. What I initially, when I was looking at rules and I was trying to understand the consistency rule, I sat here and I said, okay, well, most of the time, my breakouts, my reversals, I usually target, on the option side, I usually target 20% return on my position is usually safe, right?
Yeah.
But there are times where the setup I'm seeing is progressing and I'm not showing any sign of resistance and we're absolutely on a rally. And I sat there and I said, you're telling me that if I take the same trade 10 times, but one of those times I get an absolute banger entry, absolute banger setup, volume kicks in and we get a massive movement, I'm penalized for it?
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, that's exactly correct. And I said, doesn't make any sense to me. So we have two of those products. One is the no consistency with the gas. One is consistency with the electric, because if you are somebody that likes your base hits, likes to stay consistent and simple, that is the product for you. If you are somebody that wants to be able to be rewarded when you do hit those high probability setups that absolutely crank, the gas is for you. That's kind of the basis of the
100%.
least resistance. And then I think the other question was, what are some of the stuff where we're seeing, like what are the common things we're seeing when most new trader comes in? The biggest thing is...
Yeah, like what path are you finding them being most, where do they likely don't come in and this blow out, go away, demoralize? What are kind of the easier paths for them to get into the Redline family, on the prop side there and, have a higher probability, that slow, steady, consistent growth with you?
Electric accounts for sure. The gas account product I think is really for a little bit of a high level trader because it is no consistency, but it is intraday. So intraday drawdown, that trailing, again, you got to really be on top of your drawdown. Again, it's one of the original products in the prop firm space, but I think a lot of people have gone away for it because they think it's a negative case. The biggest thing when it comes to that side of things, and I've heard a lot of back and forth of, oh, we don't like these trailing accounts. Again, the point is to be profitable. The reason a lot of these prop firms absolutely ditch that product is because they saw so many people buying end of day. And again, when the end of day product dropped in the space years ago, it revolutionized the space, and that's fantastic. And that's why we offer that product with electric. But the reason we still offer gas is because the goal at the end of the day is to be profitable. And if you're worried about the intraday drawdown because you're letting trades go too far into profit, you're letting them swing back and forth, that is not a profitable habit. When I get into profit, I'm locking in those profits. I'm not letting myself trail down. I'm not letting my movement be too quick. And again, if you are hitting that trailing drawdown, you might often be over leveraged. Position sizing is going to control your emotional control. And if you can't have emotional control, you're not going to be able to be a live trader. The whole goal of what we want to produce, both products, is for current traders that like the end-of-day drawdown style, we have the electric, and for traders looking to really refine their skills and work towards being a live trader, whether it's with us directly or their own live account, because their payouts are going straight to their live account, the intraday is for that. But I think the easiest way to get into the system, get into our accounts, and show profitability and scale, it's the electric end-of-day drawdown accounts.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And listen, I know we're right about at time here, but guys, it's been a lot of fun. Again, give the lucky number 7. If you love the guys, you want them back, you can't wait to see more of them, type in lucky number 7 for those guys so that they can see it. And, ask Joe, maybe your guys behind the camera can give you the thumbs up because the screen is flying by. We got a 4-digit audience here. And
Means
a lot of
Thank
thumbs
you.
up. So,
Means a lot to us, guys. Biggest thing is,
nicely done, guys.
thank you, Rob. We
As
wanted
you, as you
to,
can see, too, they're more than just fancy cars, right? Redline's a lifestyle.
There's some brains
brand.
behind it.
there's some brains behind it.
There
There's
might be a
definitely some
little.
brains behind it. Yeah, to give you guys like
Yeah,
the
it's a
full
lifestyle.
synopsis, to really to talk, if I could talk about the cars in the background for 2 minutes here, really the biggest thing is we wanted to show our appreciation for not only yourself, Rob, but to the whole Wealth Charts team. You guys allowed us to even have this segment in this space to be able
So
to present
quick,
ourselves.
too.
So the least that we can do is come dress nice, show our entire selves, not in bed, not at the home office, here at my warehouse, set up with the cars in the background to show you guys that we really put effort and time into this presentation. And the main reason why these cars are in the background is me and Ash are car guys. We work on our cars ourselves. We actually met and became close friends through cars. So the whole basis of the firm started with cars, and really, like I said in my presentation,
A year and a half ago,
Yeah,
I
quite
planted
literally.
the seed. I was
Quite
like,
literally.
you know what? This dude's got a finance degree. I think, and he's got the bankroll behind him. I was like, this is the best partner I could get right
Oh,
here.
man, I love it. That whole basis of cars bringing it to us, our entire driving factor. Because again, whether you're watching this and whatever your motivation is to be a profitable trader and make money in the space and learn, our motive was, I loved cars. When I saw my first Aventador, I literally lost my mind. I didn't even know what I was looking at. That was the carrot in front of me. So what I want to showcase to you guys is Ash and I are 2 regular guys from Southern California that started with no experience, started from nothing, learned the markets ourselves through trial and error, and we came on the other side as profitable traders, and I've been able to produce this background from the skill set that each and every one of you watching this presentation is simply trying to master. So this behind me is only a testament to show if you continue to put in discipline, you continue to put in the work, if this is your motivation, because I'm assuming at least some of you guys watching this is seeing that GT3 RS in the background, the 750, the Cully, and that Brabus S63 going, holy cow. All of this came from being profitable, disciplined, and emotionally controlled. You can achieve the same exact result. There's nothing really that special between Ash and I.
We didn't really want to flex too hard. There's some more outside.
There you go, Rob.
But
I hope that makes
before,
sense.
not indicative of future results. They're not promising anything. They're
Yeah,
trying to
not
give you-
promising,
course,
not
no,
financial
not at all.
advisors.
So-
No, not at all.
Yeah, but also, Ted just says, I got 3 more accounts from you guys. Great, Ted. Gene says, my checkout keeps failing and the site is slow. Well, there's a 4-digit audience here, Gene, going ahead,
Yes.
and a lot of people are getting in right now, so I think that, they got hit a little harder than they expected. Their website's Redline.
Thank you, guys.
Those are good issues to have.
Thank you, guys. Everybody that can hear me right now, if you are going to the website, you're having any trouble at all, if you go to redlinefuturesfunding.com, we do have a subsection to our Discord. If you're able to join the Discord, through the Discord, you can actually create a support ticket. So we have multiple ways to reach support. We did not want to just consolidate it into an email. So again, the email, I'll have my guys resend it right now in the chat.
Yeah,
Support
let's do
at
that. If I
Redline
can get
Futures
their,
Funding.
if I can get their email, and also some other guys asked for the QR code.
every other firm.
Yeah, we'll say that. Or you want to say it right now? I'll say it right now.
You can say it.
Yes, so sorry, I'll have my guys text right now. It's support at redlinefuturesfunding.com. As well, you can join our Discord and you can see every support update and again, start a support ticket there. You guys have my word that any bugs that happen with the website right now, because thankfully if we are getting a high influx of users, we might have a couple bugs in there. Everything will get fixed before the end of the day. Everybody will be ready to go for tomorrow's trading. And again, one thing I think we kind of even forgot to talk about, if you guys are on the website looking at the accounts, another big thing is you see most average profit targets on a 50K are 3,000. All of our profit targets are $250 less than the
Well,
3,000.
5.5% to the account
5.5%,
size. So
thank you.
our 25K has 1375 as the profit target, where you see some of these other firms is 2,500 on a 25K.
Yeah, because our biggest thing is we're not looking for the profit amount, because again, what we're looking for is the habits.
Yes.
The habits. How are you reaching that profit target? How are you going about it? How are you managing your risk? I think the profit target, when we talk about those discrepancies here, and really that's for, again, the trader to pass his evaluation, the trader to reach a payout stage. We are concerned with how are you going about it? What are your habits? Again, not focusing on the challenge, but focusing on the trader. What habits are you building? What are we seeing from your trading? If we see something, again, guys, also make it very clear. If you guys go on the website, at the very top, you'll see the rules section. Please take a deep dive of all our rules. Everything is very clearly laid out for anybody. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, go in the Discord and ask, email the support team, whatever it is. You can even find Ash and I on Instagram, all the socials. If you go to the next slide real quick, Destin, I believe we have socials to be displayed there as well. So if you guys want, you guys can go one more. Thank you. You guys have the Instagrams there, the Instagram for our main account, the Instagram for individual Ash and I. Any questions at all? Him and I are always active in our DMs. The Redline Futures Fund account is also active. And again, guys, any questions at all, we welcome it. The biggest thing is we want to provide clear communication, clarity, and actual scalable plans and profitability to every single one listening to this presentation.
24/7 support.
Thanks, guys.
course.
Appreciate it. Great having you here. You guys did
Thank you, Rob.
a lot of summons earlier, a lot of excitement there. So, you guys gave you lots of great ways to contact them, get involved. And thanks again, Ash and Joe. We're going to look forward to seeing you again shortly. Thanks, both.
Thank you, Rob.
Have a
Thank you,
blessed
everybody.
day, guys.
See you guys.
So, that was great, gang. Let me do this.